Greetings and welcome to this week's episode of the Pixel Crashers Podcast, a podcast where we discuss our thoughts on gaming news. I am Angelus DeMortio, together with a bunch of skewed cameras that happen to consist of Kev the Gamer. Hey, guess what? You guys are all muted. Alright.
Tell me it's still life.
Kev the Gamer. Huh? Tryhards?
Tell me it's still life.
If you say so. Major Stupidity.
What's up?
And Death Shroud 09.
Pork buns. Pork buns are where it's at. Sorry.
What was that? That dragon site? What was that dragon site you were talking about?
Bad Dragon.
Yes, Bad Dragon. There you go. Bad Dragon. That's where Kev gets all of his gaming peripherals. Oh yes. That is going to be a joke for a long time.
I'm gonna go check right now just because I know my keyboard and know he's Morty.
Did he get that from Bad Dragon too?
All because of my flight stick. Y'all just mad because I'm ascending. I'm ascending hard. We still need Travis to get off that trashy laptop though.
I mean, look at this. Look at this. Rogue is getting off of fucking his laptop.
We've been like 2 or 3 generations of graphics cards, and Travis still won't ascend.
It's alright. Like, there was a new graphics card that came out recently that I need to buy, right? Like,
they're about to pull out the 1060.
Yeah,
and the
some
1060s.
Some like 1060.
Yeah. Look at that. Travis, I was able to upgrade my computer and also start building my sister a gaming computer before you've ascended at all. My sister's computer is better than yours right now.
Look,
my 12-year-old sister.
Priorities. Okay.
Oh,
guns.
He calls guns priorities.
Hey, he is from Florida.
Gaming podcast.
He is from Florida, guys. That is the thing. You know, Florida, they're all about guns. Like that is more important than food.
You know, the Arizona state is basically one big range, right? I mean,
yeah. I've heard that confirmed officially. All right, now that that's properly fixed. Anyway, so how about some games? So it's been a while, guys. It's been 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks without a podcast because you guys are scrubs and have to like work and stuff. And then Travis, of course, he went up and I think there was some kind of sodomy joke in there somewhere. He got to hear some banjos playing.
Went out to the mountains doing God knows what.
Yep. A cabin in the woods. Literally.
He went to
a cabin in the woods in the middle of Florida, bro. I hope you pulled out.
No. Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee.
The Smoky Mountains.
She's not your cousin.
Yeah.
I was in the Smoky Mountains. Great.
Yep. Good times. Anyway, so obviously in the past couple weeks, somebody has to have played a video game.
Yes.
No.
Travis, were you able to play any video games in the Smoky Mountains while banjos were playing overhead?
I was, and those, by the light of the lightning bugs, I finally managed to win a round of FTL on easy, which is much harder than it should be.
That game.
If your frame rate was higher, it'd probably be a little easier.
It's so difficult, man.
Yeah, low frame rates, everything is difficult.
Frame rate in FTL. I don't think that's a thing.
I've never played FTL. I just know.
Yeah, FTL's turn-based, man. You're not gonna have any frame rate issues.
I mean, it's not technically turn-based, but if you're playing it correctly, it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it to you this way: even when I was playing Total War Warhammer, and I know it's like I'm turn-based, kind of sort of. It's kind of hard to describe Total War's combat. I still won't play it at 30 frames a second.
No, see, Total War, it's not it has the grand strategy elements that are turn-based on the campaign map, but the actual battles themselves are real-time. So that's not. Yeah, there's no turn-based to that. No, fuck that shit at low.
I won't play that at 30. And
yeah,
so I can't see StarCraft hurting at 30.
So on FTL, I ended up winning, like killing the final boss with like 2 bars of hull integrity left, my entire ship on fire, and like venting my atmosphere with all of my guys in one room.
That
managed.
sounds very much like my experience in playing Star Trek Online.
Yeah, it was intense.
Speaking of Star Trek, I tried that when we weren't on air. Tried that Star Trek game they put out for the movie when they put out in 2013. Actually, it was okay. I played it maybe an hour and a half. It's okay. It's kind of a bland action game.
Yeah.
And
that's not at all what Star Trek is about, though. That's my problem.
Yes, the only Star Trek IP I've ever got into was Next Generation. I didn't like any of the others, really. Deep Space Nine was okay.
But the primary thing was, right, the adventure, the mystery, the story being unfolded in front of you. And yes, there was some action in there, because obviously people get bored as fuck if there was no action. But whenever you see a game that's an action game, and it's like based off of a game that was all about adventure and storytelling, no, I'm done.
Yeah, I think Star Wars would be a better just pure action game.
That would be awesome. Can you imagine a fighting game?
It's so hard to follow sometimes.
Can you imagine a fighting game that's Star Wars based? Like Mortal Kombat, starring Jedis and rogues and stuff like that.
It's a lightsaber game, just a lightsaber fights. That's basically what it would be.
I'm good with that. Like virtual reality, even that would be great in virtual reality. Yep.
Well, I mean, even a Star Wars skin on like Street Fighter or whatever would be like
just throw Yoda into fucking Mortal Kombat. Come on, they throw everything else in there. Let's be honest.
But Yoda would be a beast in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he would wreck everybody.
Like I could legitimately see like a Star Wars like fighting game. That would be pretty cool. I can see it personally.
Yeah. Anyway, Joe, bunch of games and stuff. I know, obviously, Overwatch was in there. We all play a lot of Overwatch. Everybody knows we play a lot of Overwatch. But was it you that was talking about downloading Evolve?
Like slightly, but I actually never did it because I didn't really care that much.
Okay.
I downloaded it.
I was like,
I downloaded it, played it for 20 minutes, realized it's still 8.
They fucking gimped the game. So, real briefly,
did I show you guys the post for the founders? One of the founders guys?
Yeah.
He was like a really high level and then got his shit ganked when they went free to play.
Yeah, they ganked all the people who had purchased and paid fucking money for the game. They reset their shit back to 0.
Wow.
Gave them 3,000 keys, which is worth. It's barely anything in that game.
Right,
and then they stripped one of the fucking game types out of there.
Wait, what happened? What's going on?
Like they fucked them hard. Like it was
no Vaseline.
Damn, that takes
what happened?
Balls.
That was Evolve. So Evolve was already tanking as is. Nobody was fucking playing that game anyway.
Right.
And if you want a quick way to say, hey, not only did we shit on the people that bought this game, we're going to go ahead and take a piss on them and then pour gasoline on them and then light them on fire.
That's what did they do again?
So they went free to play to try to spur more people to come back and play the game. But all the people, to try to make things even keel because it's free to play, everybody who had paid for the game, bought the fucking game, and had been playing it, they reset all of their shit. So all of the unlocks they got, all the skins, they stripped it all away. And just more or less told them, fuck you. You bought this game, but we don't give a shit about you. And then they one of the favored forms of gameplay in that, I'm thinking it was Extraction, the gameplay mode, Extraction. They stripped it out of the game. It's gone. And that was actually one of the favorite game modes in that game, which is kind of weird. Yeah, so they obviously did not think that out very well. And I hope they crash and burn. And I hope their company gets bought by Ubisoft. Because that's about
Ubisoft, that's too good for them. Let EA buy it.
No. Ubisoft
Konami.
is... no, yeah, there you go, Konami.
Yes, please, Konami.
Let Konami buy them, and that will be the last I think we need to hear about. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there because
I'd like everyone to visualize just the studio and all of the devs in the studio, and then all of a sudden, these men in body armor and helmets and guns smash through their windows, and you see Konami flash across their chest, and then cut to darkness.
Yeah. No, it's just you see one guy. One of the soldiers walks towards the camera, and right before he gets to the camera, you just see that Konami glint across his chest as he walks to the camera, fade to black. You're fucked.
Now you see a bunch of Chico machines.
Yeah, and now you're fucked. But yeah, so that was Evolve. So Joe, have you had a chance to play anything else? I mean, Overwatch. How you been liking Overwatch?
Overwatch is good. That's pretty much all I've been playing. So
it's kind of eaten our lives. Kev and I had a lot to discuss about Overwatch. We've been discussing it for a while. Kev, why don't you first talk about the games you played other than Overwatch? Then we'll discuss competitive.
Oh yeah, competitive is AIDS. But,
yeah, we'll get to that.
Like I always say, this time of year it's backlog season, so I go in and I start playing games that I might not have finished, or games that I may have that third didn't finish, or maybe bought and forgot about. So I was playing Red Faction Guerrilla today.
Nice.
I played some Resident Evil 5. I found the FOV mod, which actually made it playable for me, which was great.
That was a big complaint on that game, actually.
Yeah, because the FOV in there made it completely unplayable for me.
Mm-hmm.
What else have I been playing? I got a flight stick. I wanted to try to play Elite Dangerous. I find it to be completely unplayable with a controller. Now I have to figure out how to aim with the damn flight stick.
So you need to also get a VR HMD in order to play Elite Dangerous, because apparently that is the.
He needs to get a GIT GUD.
GUD. Yeah.
Nah, I played some Mighty Number 9. Somebody gifted it to me, and I played a little bit of Mighty Number 9. It's not as bad as the reviewers said it was.
The game that tanked.
Yeah, it tanked. Due to the bad publicity, but it's not a bad game. It's not terrible at all.
Okay.
It feels like Mega Man. It really does feel like a good spiritual successor to Mega Man.
I think the problem with what it was with Mighty Number 9 was not whether or not the game itself on its own was good. It was what was promised. It was a crowdfunded game. That's
part of it. Politics as usual.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I hope you're not playing it on 360, PS3, or the Wii or Wii U, because I heard it's like god awful there.
Yeah.
Like down to like 10 to 12 frames a second.
I didn't even know if it got released on there. I know that they pushed it back.
I know they pushed back the 360 version.
Yeah. But it was essentially what was being promised, because if I remember right, I thought it was crowdfunded, wasn't it?
Right. I think we were supposed to get like a multiplayer mode that I don't believe is even in there.
Nope. Like I said, they pretty much just gave it, and there was some miscommunication on that.
Oh, yeah.
Like essentially, there was a misquote and then a mistranslation. The misquote was there was a phrase, you should be like essentially something to the effect of, you should be lucky that you got anything at all. Mm-hmm. Was a misattributed quote that the developer didn't even say, and it got publicized by, go figure, fucking Kotaku, the masters of unethics themselves.
Yep.
Well, we talk about unethics, though. Where are the ethics really in the games industry? Like,
yeah,
Kotaku we know is unethical. I don't think much of IGN's ethics.
Nope, they're fucked up too.
I'm slightly forgiving to GameSpot. GameSpot has their moments.
Yeah, they have
their moments where they do suffer from the peasantry.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're kind of the most open.
As far as their news reporting, they're good. Their reviews, I'm kind of up in the air on their reviews. Right. But yeah, so
but there are a lot of games. I have more games. The Technomancer.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was.
The Technomancer
story. That was another game that tanked reviews.
Yeah, and that game
isn't
was the review. It's not bad, but it's not great. My problem is it's a game that you need to buy at $20.
Yeah,
it's like, here's the thing: they were the guys who made Bound by Flame, and Technomancer feels like, hey, we're gonna take this game and that everyone basically laid out the problems with our game, And we're just going to totally ignore them and make the new game with all the exact same problems with a new setting. That's Technomancer in a nutshell.
Well, no, it's actually supposed to be like a sequel to another game they had that
all I know is it has all the same
I was watching Total Biscuit's review on it, and he mentioned that he hated the previous game that this game was a sequel to.
All the same problems as Bound by Flames or Bound in Flames, whatever the hell it's
Bound
called.
by Flame, which is that combat issues?
Yeah,
Bound
it's
by
just
Flame is part of my backlog.
Like, you die super quick, enemies are bullet spongy, combat's completely unenjoyable, like there's no feedback on anything, there's no kinetic...
It's good to know that they learn from their mistakes.
They didn't. Like, it's all the exact same...
That's sarcasm in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
a painfully mediocre game, and that's really the point of it. But
yeah, it could have been great. It could have been great. But in good games I did play, I tried Company of Heroes 2 also, and the last one I tried was Total Warhammer, which I'm enjoying.
Good. So
I played a lot of games.
Because everybody knows Total War Warhammer is amazing. And
I don't think it's a bad game at all.
No, it's actually one of the best Total War games I've played. Yeah,
I heard there was some optimization issues with the NVIDIA cards, but I didn't experience it. I got it over the holiday.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. So
it is pretty much. I haven't really been following it, so it's a pretty decent success, right?
Yeah, it's actually done pretty well for itself, and I honestly I will say good on Creative Assembly, because first of all, they'd been kind of getting a little stagnant with their Total War games, because I mean, there's only so many historical periods of major war that you could go through, and they never really got into any more modern warfare styles. Like the most recent war they touched on was, well, not really war, but it was essentially the 17 early 1800s with Empire Total War. And they haven't really gotten any newer than that. And I kind of like that about them. They don't really touch on the modern stuff, but they were kind of getting dry with it. Like, they already done 2 Medieval games, 2 Rome games, 2 Shogun games that were all the same time periods. So they were starting to recycle things. So going into Warhammer, and the fact that it was a great success and it was largely lauded by everybody, I'm hoping that they go into more things. You know, more Warhammers or other fantasy universes. Like, can you imagine a Halo Total War? That would be pretty badass.
I don't know if it would work.
It would.
It
would.
I'm kind of looking at it.
Get a bunch of Spartans against a bunch.
Well, no. You, instead of continents and countries that you're capturing and land pieces, planets.
Wouldn't that work better? I'm thinking like we're going back to Star Wars. I think Star Wars would be great.
Star Wars. Well, the catch is, though, the reason why Warhammer was so uniquely positioned to do well is because one of the features of a traditional key part of a Total War game is the fact that you usually have a lot of factions all vying for control of a certain area of the world.
Right, yeah, they did that really well with Warhammer.
Yeah, Warhammer's got a ton of factions that are all, like, none of them are considered to be the good guys, as it were. So that's kind of a big thing about it. Whereas,
oh man, humanity all the way.
Yeah, fuck your Imperium. Anyway, getting heated. But no, like, the thing is that like Star Wars, you really only have 2 factions in there. I mean, depending on the time period you pick, it's going to be the Republic versus the Empire. You know, in some capacity, or the Rebels, or the Resistance, or whatever. There's light side and dark side. There's really not multiple other factions, and that's kind of unfortunate. But, yeah. Same with Halo. Halo really only had, I mean, yeah, eventually you had the not the Forerunners, the other guy. Hey, what's up, Sean? And other Sean. And
whenever I look at the apparent success of this Total War game, I kind of look at it from the other side. Mm-hmm. You're excited about possibly more Total War games with different settings, like fantasy settings, whereas for me, because I'm not I haven't played any of the Total War games yet, so I'm not really invested in them, although I'll definitely look into it in the future. as a fan of the Warhammer setting itself, I'm happy that it finally has a game that has done well. Right?
Oh, there's been several though. Like
There've been several really good ones.
yeah, they're like
I still wanna
Vermintide
try
was another
Vermintide.
recent one that actually has done amazingly well.
Well,
Vermintide was
nobody's really
actually
playing it on Steam anymore, though. There's like
yeah.
200-300 players a
Unfortunately,
day.
they didn't really do a good job of expanding on it. They started out strong because they had a good base. They had a platform to spring off of. But then it kind of didn't go anywhere, right?
Well, this I'm talking more about like that was Warhammer Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is what Vermintide is, and
yeah, it's the Vermintide
the total wear is 40K, right?
No, I don't think.
The Warhammer Total War is in fantasy too.
Yeah, it's not, in fantasy. It's not 40K.
It's not 40K.
No, it's not 40K.
Oh, I thought it was 40K. Okay,
yeah,
never mind. That's unfortunate. I want to see a good 40K game.
Well, see, the fantasy is a lot of times is actually kind of the preferred. Like that has the most popularity to it. 40K is while you hear about it a lot.
Well, the thing
it has become a lot more niche now.
Well, the thing about Warhammer Fantasy is that like it's safer, right?
Yeah.
It's high fantasy, right? Like it's very similar to things like Dungeons and Dragons and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
So it's generally speaking easier to work with than the ridiculousness that is 40K.
Yeah.
I'm not vested in either of these worlds, but I just thought the idea of, hey, let's savagely destroy some orcs. Okay, let's do it.
Fuck you. The chaos dwarves will rule all. But yeah, no, yeah. So anyway, any other non-Overwatch games you played?
Not recently. Like I said, I've just been hitting the backlog.
Yep. So
and my setup has been ascending because, like I said, I got the Leviathan speaker, got a new chair. Oh, it feels so much better. Mm-hmm. And I got my flight stick. I'm good to go.
So then let's talk about that Overwatch. Competitive.
It's kind of AIDS.
Can I just say fuck May? Her entire design is so
Listen, here's the three balance issues. So the first one is that I feel like that
it's not even imbalance. She's just not fun to play against.
Yeah, no. Like I said, it's you have your Bastion. I feel like his turret gun should have a little bit of spool up time, just a little bit, to make it a little bit harder for his span.
He does way too much damage, especially to have all that health and armor.
Yeah, and then the second thing is make him slower to transition from turret to non-turret form, like back and forth. So that way, if you get some, like say Reaper gets close up on him and he's trying to bail from his posted up spot, he's gonna get screwed. I kind of like that. Second thing is Toblerone, as we call him, Toblerone. So Toblerone,
he needs to fly back.
I'm not worried about Toblerone.
Damn it.
Yeah, essentially, just his turret should not be able to aim straight up. That's it.
I'm not too worried.
I don't think it should be able to automatically aim at someone who's flanking it either.
Yeah.
Like I think it should be given the chance to sneak up on it. Now, if you start shooting at it, obviously it should turn on you. But like, there are so many times where I flank it.
Well, like I said, I never have problems.
But the turret just like
the thing is Junkrat and Ferris such hard counters to that turret. Like I have no problems with that. But and then finally May, I think it's her shift ability is really I have the problem with, that she can just like, oh, she's getting royally screwed, then she just pops in her little icicle and then she's safe again.
And but that's only for like 10 seconds. I just wait outside the icicle.
Yeah, but
then wreck her ass.
Well, if you get that chance, a lot of times she'll pop out, start freezing you. If she gets low in health, she just pops in her icicle again. And it's like, I don't like that shift ability of hers. I don't think she should have a self-heal.
I don't think freezing is fun as a mechanic.
Oh, I love May. I love playing this
But
May.
Kev, the main thing I want to talk about was that competitive mode in the system, because I know you've had a lot to say about it.
Yeah, I started out rank 52 or 53, got up to 54, 55, and now I'm down into like the high 30s, because I get shit teams.
Yeah, so
Like every time I get that one guy that insists on playing Bastion on attack or Hanzo on attack. Stop playing Bastion and Hanzo on attack. Nobody wants to play healer.
yeah.
And then if you choose to play healer, nobody wants to defend you in comp mode. And it gets worse as you get lower in rank, which is why it pisses me off.
Well, something I've noticed on there is
no
that,
one appreciates the healers.
like, whenever I was doing my
appreciate a good
first...
Mercy.
Yeah, no, the thing I noticed, though, is when I was first setting up with getting those first 10 wins to get yourself ranked, my schedule
I went
was...
like 13 and 10 too.
Yeah, the first setup I had, though, I was playing a lot of solo because you guys weren't on a lot of those times whenever I was able to play. So as a result, I would either go in there by myself or with Rogue. So it was us a duo with 4 other scrubs, in there. And I say that liberally because when you're unranked, it usually throws you in with the lower quality players or players that haven't been ranked themselves. And what ended up happening is we would just end up losing a bunch because the 2 people who get ranked high off the bat are players who are just absolutely godly at the game, which there are some that are legitimately just that good. Or the alternative is that you are running in a 6-man squad, or at least a 5-man squad, and have a squad that's good enough that can carry that 5th pug. And I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. But unfortunately, what happened is that I ended up getting ranked in the high 30s, not because I didn't play that well. I mean, I played all right, but it was mainly because you end up with a team that just doesn't want to work with you. Doesn't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. Like if I'd play a tank or a healer, I would see Reinhardts and Roadhogs that would just run off by themselves away from the team, not on any payload. You would get, like if I'm tanking, you'd get, like if I'm playing Reinhardt, you get the freaking Soldier 76 that wants to run out in front of your shield and then gets killed, and it's like, what can you do?
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And that's what I noticed, like, as I get lower ranked, and maybe it's as I play longer. Like, my first few matches, even getting qualified, I legit went, like, 13 and 2. Yeah. Like, I was winning back to back. I don't do bad in any of my matches. I'm not, like, godly. But, I do well.
The thing is...
I usually get, like, 2-3 golds every match, lose.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that supposedly... They said supposedly that ranking system was supposed to be based on your personal skill. Yes, the winner or the lose does have an effect on it, but also the like how well you do in that win or loss is supposed to determine it. And guess what? I haven't noticed that at all. It's pretty much whether you win or lose, and that's it. Yeah. And that to me is unfortunately disappointing. But yeah. Anyway, since we're now 35 minutes in. Let's go ahead.
I think the TLDR to think about with the with Overwatch right now. I might just skip this season and just go back to casual.
Yeah, because casual.
More fun casual.
Yeah, you have
more
fun.
With competitive is the games just take too long.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that.
I want quicker games, and not all the time. Like there's a time and the place for the longer games. But there are times where it's like, I just want to pop in for a quick game, and it feels like competitive just takes too long.
Well, whenever you get those overtimes where they just keep touching the point.
That doesn't help.
I hate those.
I had one of those where I was just...
You wipe everyone but one guy, and then that guy finds a way to survive for 30 seconds.
Well, no, like, what was it that we were dealing with one night where it was like that match...
overtime for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Tracer refuses to die.
It was like 15 minutes of just them barely touch... We had them locked the fuck down, but they would just get one guy to step foot on that fucking little box, and then it would reset the overtime timer. Over and over again for like 20 fucking minutes. They did it to us twice. The second time we were just all so fucking tired of playing, they wore us down. They out-enduranced us, which to me is...
we won that match, didn't we? We ended up winning in the long run.
We lost at the end.
We
lost the third round on it, which was kind
of... that was the third round where they kept doing it.
Oh, maybe I can't remember actually.
I don't remember.
But yeah, in any case though, yeah, those... You're definitely right. Those drag on too long sometimes. And that's kind of where I'm at, is I feel like there needs to be some more character balancing, because at this point, when you just get like 2 Toblerones on certain maps, it just becomes so cheap. It's like, okay, so I guess when you don't have skill, you just let an auto-aim turret do the work for you. or Bastion camping around the corner. It just you get that on quick
Bastion
play.
hiding behind a shield with Mercy on him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
Mercy buffing his damage.
yeah. But yeah, that is what it is. But I have a feeling that next season we'll probably see people know the system a little bit better and might, unfortunately, might do something a little bit better. I don't know. We'll find out. But let's get on to our first story. So this week, of course, we had one of the brilliant things that was going on, and that was the CSGO controversy, right?
Oh boy.
So essentially, yeah, because he didn't bother to read the note, so this is his first time hearing about it. So apparently, now there's some legality we'll get into, but essentially, there was information surfaced that a YouTuber was supposedly opening up skins from this Lotto site. And he was getting all these rare, high dollar value item skins on this Lotto site. And then it turns out that, oh yeah, he's in cahoots with this Lotto site. He owns
the Lotto site.
Yeah. And so essentially he was just trying to boost his own sales by getting his own items. And he never disclosed any of this. So
they had video evidence of showing one of his videos where he literally was like, "All right, guys, I found this new site."
Yep. Yeah, I actually remember seeing that. I used to follow T Martin because I liked Call of Duty news. Not that I thought he was a great channel. He just was one of the first people with Call of Duty. Yeah, no, he's been a piece of shit. He's been caught up in controversy. Yeah. See, I didn't know. I don't know much about Syndicate. But I know T Martin's been.
I just know they're both pieces of shit.
Yeah, Syndicate. Shit.
I'm not talking about ethics. I'm talking about he's usually like the first guy with Call of Duty news. So he was usually the guy I went to because he had it first.
Yeah, like I said, if I remember Syndicate correct, if I'm thinking of the same person I'm thinking of, there may be two people called Syndicate. Who knows? But if I remember him, he's a piece of shit and has been for a long time. But the main thing about here is obviously this is not the first controversy. Like even these guys aside, whether or not these guys are good folks or not, this is not the first time that YouTube disclosure has run afoul of controversy. You remember the Xbox promo nonsense a little ways back.
T. Martin was caught up in that too.
Yeah, funny.
With the Machinima one when the Xbox One first launched.
Yeah, the Machinima controversy on there. So, my question is, do you think it's about time that since this will eventually end up starting to affect YouTube, advertisers are not going to want to advertise with a disreputable company. So, do you think that YouTube's going to at some point institute mandatory disclosure rules for people that are advertising?
They already do.
FCC already does it.
Yeah, it's actually required on YouTube as well, but most people don't do it.
That's not mandatory then. That's recommended.
It's mandatory, but like all things, it's mandatory to have car insurance. That doesn't mean everybody has it.
No, what I'm saying is that. So here's the thing: is that at what point it's left up to the ethics of the content creator. That means it's not mandatory. Like there's no enforcement by YouTube of infringement on that, right? It's just, hey, you should really disclose this stuff, or else bad stuff can happen to you. And then people never disclose a damn thing. I mean, you have like a lot of your big YouTubers out there that are making damn good money off of it, even if they're not.
Like T. Martin and Pro Syndicate?
No, I'm talking bigger than that. Like, for example, if you look at Jim Sterling, he never monetizes any of his videos. He openly discloses he doesn't because he's making off of Patreon.
Right, and both of these guys individually are way bigger than Jim Sterling.
Maybe.
Jim Sterling's has like 250,000. Yeah, his following is not as big as you think it is.
Right, yeah, Jim Sterling's only at 250,000. T. Martin's at like 2 million, and Pro Syndicate's like at 9.
You know what though? How many of their subscribers are like little kids or like?
Yeah.
Not little kids, but like young teenagers who literally just.
Well, if you look at like some of the like going upwards from there, if you look like Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie or any of the other big gamers like that, they tend to be upfront with a lot of their stuff just because they don't have a reason not to, right? So with the shit with the CSGO nonsense, a lot of it I felt like was just because they're trying to just scrape that extra buck. PewDiePie, he's making $7 million a year. He doesn't fucking care. He doesn't need to scrape an extra buck by on someone. Like, he's probably got a lot of advertisers that are clamoring to get him to mention a word about their shit because it's PewDiePie.
Mm?
But the thing is that these are big channels, and like you said, T. Martin was in a controversy before, and nothing really happened to him, and it's happening again, and it's like, so how many times do we have to keep having ethical violations of content creators before shit starts hitting the fan? I guess that's my thoughts on it. It bugs me.
Oh, I agree with you because both of these guys have been caught up in lots of controversy, like you were saying. And it seems like, especially on YouTube, every couple months, T. Martin's caught up in at least one or two of these a year, and people forget about it after a couple months, and it kind of just goes away.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of an I don't know. I tend to be very I have a very strong I guess you could say ethical compass.
Mm-hmm.
My morality's gray, you know. Someone's bleeding out on the street, I'm, just like, oh man, that looks like that sucks. I'm kidding. Not that way.
You know, I kind of want to talk about like the ridiculous situation that we have of like online gambling and like pseudo gambling stuff.
Oh,
like
no, this is straight up gambling.
So here's
like,
the thing.
This is
Here's the
straight up
thing.
gambling.
But before we get into that, I will say something on here. There's actually a legal precedent on this that unless at some point in the process you cash out the representative currency for real currency, then officially, as the court goes, it cannot be unlicensed gambling. I actually was, you've heard my spiel before how I fucking hate Perfect World's bullshit. Their whole unlicensed gambling. So like apparently
Oh, so there has been court precedent for this?
There actually has been court precedent, unfortunately, and essentially it was some chick. There was I'm trying to remember what game it was, but there was essentially a casino function in there, and you actually put $100 in and get your gold coins. And now I'm realizing this is why all those fucking companies do the whole like representative currency, like BioWare points or fucking, like they don't.
They stopped doing BioWare points, by the way.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's still
But it
other
was
companies.
they still have EA points.
Yeah.
But what's funny, you mentioned it like being like a slot machine because that's how CSGO a lot of works. I don't know if you actually saw it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
literally like
exactly
you put your money on there and you let it roll, and hopefully you get skins. And they're letting 11-year-olds do it.
Like
Yep.
regardless of, this is kind of really frustrating for me, especially for somebody who's interested in like legal precedent type stuff. There's like recently and not so recently, there's been a lot of court precedent set that is really like, and this may just be my opinion, but like I'm generally able to look at things from a more objective point of view in many ways, and like this is like really bad. Yeah, like I try to be an objective person, but like a lot of these, a lot of the courts have really kind of come up with some weird precedent.
Oh no,
in terms of like business workings.
Well, I mean, if you look at Lens versus UMG, that was actually a court precedent that was, in my opinion, a long time coming and needed to fucking happen. That was the one that obviously it was the foot in the door for YouTube content creators for fair use. Unfortunately, UMG is still fucking content ID claiming videos, but YouTube has made some changes to their system that's a little bit better now. I still think that UMG needs to fucking not be allowed to content ID claim bullshit. They should have a person that is reviewing each fucking video. Because I swear to pause for a moment, rant for a second. When I'm streaming for 2 fucking hours and someone hops in the stream and over their mic there's a loudspeaker playing and you hear 10 fucking seconds of a song or 30 seconds of a song or whatever that's by the Allman Brothers, and you flag my entire fucking video, fuck you, UMG. Fuck you. Anyway, back on topic.
I hear you when you say you think they should have a human on there.
Yeah.
At the same time, they're saying apparently there are like what they say 48 hours worth of content being uploaded per minute to YouTube.
So here's the thing. This is the way I would make use of that. Have that content ID crawler crawling through the videos, and then flag the ones that have triggered the content ID warning. Don't automatically flag them for copyright so that their shit gets unmonetized or whatever. Flag it for review.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, yes, I can totally see flagging for review.
Yes, Enforcer, I'm salty as fuck on that shit, and I will continue to be salty. There's definitely some salt on that. But
from a business standpoint, from a user standpoint,
they have not responded to my claim. Like, they're going to leave it sit for 30 days.
But from a business standpoint, this is the reason. From a business standpoint, that would take a lot of manpower, right?
Which is my concern.
Leaving it up to the people who get flagged, having to go to them and make claims, and they have all this time that they can waste in between.
Yeah.
Get to it whenever they want to. And then a lot of people aren't even going to bother. And like this, in this situation for them, this is really, really good. It just sucks if you're a user.
Yeah.
Here's my thing too. When you think about this, why do we have bots doing this? If the copyright owner really has as much of a problem with it, maybe the copyright owner should approach Google and file a complaint rather than having a bot do it.
See, here's the thing. This is essentially how the content ID system is. They're like a little back behind the scenes, behind the curtain viewpoint. Essentially how it works is a copyright holder, asterisk, because it's not always the fucking copyright holder, I'll get to that in a minute, submits the source material, the song, for example, or the video clip of what they hold the copyright for. They submit it into the system for YouTube to use. And then they also submit what they want to happen. Do they want a hard copyright strike? Take that shit down immediately? Do they, like previously, they would just, monetize it and collect the ad revenue, and that was a bunch of bullshit, but they could actually opt to have it just taken down. No ifs, ands, or buts. And the thing is that the first problem that arrived is you had people that had licenses to the content, did not own the content. They were licensed for it, that were claiming shit. Like there was an anime channel that I've talked about before that had their shit flagged by some Italian media distribution group. Didn't even...
Oh, dude, when I was messing around in the music production sector, I had people that had their original music, like they're sitting there playing the piano, original song, everything, get flagged. I saw a dude that was talking on the beach get flagged because the wind went into the mic. And it got flagged for someone's song.
Oh my goodness.
Like, the copyright system on YouTube is broken as fuck.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that's where I say, if something gets flagged content ID, have it then marked for internal review by YouTube to determine it. Oh, that was just some dude in the game that had music playing over the loudspeaker. That is obviously not the focus of the fucking of the stream. That's my thing. Is that essentially the problem is that this is UMG, that was doing this. Nobody reviewed that. Nobody's gonna review it. All they did was they had their content ID automatically flag it, and then I dispute it. It sits for 30 days unmonetized, and then it goes away because they didn't do anything with it, which to me is it's a load of horseshit. But I don't know.
Facts.
My thing is that now bringing it back on topic on the CSGO lottery bullshit is that things like this weaken the position of a content creator. Like right now, a lot of content creators are struggling to say, hey, copyright holders and other guys need to not be the only focus of YouTube's efforts. They should be seeking to protect their content creators because that's where the revenue comes from. And YouTube's been doing that, but then when you get this unethical bullshit that potentially opens YouTube up for lawsuits, that kind of makes them want to hold back on throwing in with the content creators, right?
I see that.
I don't know. That's my thought on it. Is that that's kind of unfortunately fucking everybody else because these scumbags are greedy.
Oh yeah, very greedy.
And yeah,
I don't disagree with that.
I don't know. Travis, you have any thoughts on there? Sitting in the shadow like a mysterious person.
Shadow.
Screen fell asleep.
Oh, okay. Thoughts on the whole YouTube thing?
Well,
and thoughts on all of it.
Yeah.
Like from the children gambling to the non-disclosure to Google just being dicks about things.
I mean, I disagree with the whole court proceeding thing on this being okay gambling.
I don't think it is either.
Like, like, do you agree with me that this is still gambling, right?
Yeah, it is. Very much so.
Did Rogue get? Damn, Nightbot. Nightbot apparently fucking timed out Rogue.
Well, I hope he comes to the YouTube stream this time.
Dude, sorry, Rogue.
So
Nightbot
yeah,
doesn't like you.
Like I think this is gambling, and like it's kind of and running, and with gambling comes regulation, right? So this would have been a bigger deal if this was actual gambling, right? And like somebody with a license doing this, correct?
Yeah. But
so I think that's like a core part of the issue, right? Like this is a big deal because this is still gambling, and yet because it's not technically licensed gambling, he gets away scot-free.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's
well, they're in court. They're going through court proceedings, and
they're
looking to sue back too.
Scot-free.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Realistically,
realistically,
how much is he going to get punished for this?
You know what's likely?
Not enough.
They're looking at felony charges.
I have a feeling, and I've actually looked at. I think it was on Reddit. They actually had 3 different attorneys who actually have done work with different in the esports fields and different stuff like that. And they actually had them do. They had an AMA, and they talked about it. And many of them were on the consensus of there's a good chance that someone who's looking to make a name for himself will pick up this case because of how much of a story it really is, especially because of the fact that it's young children being kind of targeted.
Okay. Asking Morty, was this court case? This was not a Supreme Court case, was it?
No, it was. I think it was.
It was a district.
It was a federal district court. So it was federal level. It was not state level, but it was the district court.
Right. So if that's what I'm talking about, because if this could set precedent if an attorney picks it up, if it's in a different district for having disagreement between districts.
So here's the thing. It does depend on the region in which the court case were to take place. Because obviously,
it would probably take place in Florida because the business license is from Orlando.
Yeah, so that's the catcher on there, right? Florida has been, for a long time, and Travis, you're aware of this, has been a long time one step away from being like another Oregon or a Montana where they allow gambling. Because they already have gambling in like horse tracks and the dog races and that sort of thing there. They've only been a brief step away. And I think you can also have casinos gambling on the Seminole reservations there too, I think.
Yes.
But so in a lot of ways, it has similarities to Oregon in that fact. Oregon has just taken it.
Cruises are big.
Yeah, cruises too. Yeah. So that's the catch on there, right? Is that Florida is a gambling-friendly state in a lot of ways.
Well, they're a red state. They're a very let's make money any way possible kind of state.
They're not necessarily
as long as we
red.
can catch you on it. I don't know. I call them a very red state.
It bounces. It depends on
it's back and forth. They're not like, it depends on your area, because if you get into a lot of Miami and that sort of thing, they're very, very blue. Very
Right,
blue.
like the thing about Florida is that it's just like other places in the country where the population centers are very blue and the rural areas are very red.
Yep.
But in Florida, the populations of both are closer together
Yep.
than in other.
It's just the people in the big cities try their best not to associate with those rednecks out in the countryside. Like Travis.
Guilty's charged.
Yeah, but no, like that. Yeah, but that's the thing, is that that's the catch, is that they tend to be a bit of a gambling friendly state, which that's what concerns me. Is I would prefer a precedent gets set on gambling in a negative connotation, because I feel like in just regulation, because all other gambling out there is fucking regulated, because obviously the fantasy sports, right? That got didn't that get some regulation put on it? If I remember right.
Hey, as long as it's grown ass men doing it, who cares?
Yeah. Well, that's
Like,
the
it's
thing,
adults.
is that's part of the regulation. Age restrictions. If these lottos are primarily played by kids, let's be honest. Yeah, there's a lot of adults that play CSGO, but there's also a lot of kids. So I don't know. To me, that feels a little, I don't know.
Savage.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna need to wait and see the court precedent being set here in this court case. But like I said, there is a previous precedent that unfortunately says that without the false currency or the pseudo currency being re-exchanged back into real currency, it does not have value. The moment that you give, like for example in Warframe, when you pay money and get platinum, the moment that real money turns into platinum, it no longer has real monetary value. And that's the major thing. So moving on to our next topic, though, before Joe falls asleep on us here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm probably gonna step away, you guys, because
Go for it. I've been telling you,
I haven't
man,
eaten
go.
dinner.
Go, get out of here. Go, shoot.
Sorry, I stuck around for an hour.
That's all right. We'll go to our next story about Richard Garriott, who's turning into the Billy Bob Thornton of the games industry. So, like, not even a joke. So, Billy Garriott is this game developer. He came up with the
Billy
Ultimate
Garriott?
Series.
Billy
Yeah,
Garriott?
Billy Garriott.
Billy!
I'm calling him Billy Garriott now.
Billy!
So, he was attempting, no, not attempting, he, I believe, successfully did sell his own blood on eBay in phylacteries for as high as $8,000. Essentially on a live stream promoting a new game, which I'm not even going to fucking name because I'm not going to give him the free publicity for it. I'm not even going to talk about his game. He had blood drawn on the live stream and then had a guy that actually put it into a phylactery and they tried to sell it on eBay. Now, eBay went and did actually pull it down because eBay has a long-standing ban on any sort of human remains. And that includes blood, skulls, anything like that, because there were some issues with like Indian artifacts and dead bodies being sold. Crazy shit that's sold.
So what you're telling me is that when I blow up and become YouTube famous, I cannot sell my semen to young deserving women?
All right, listen. So just because I know Travis,
there are legal avenues for this. There are legal avenues for this.
So
eBay.
Just because I know Travis absolutely loved this phrase, I'm gonna pose the question to you guys: what in the creepy Billy Bob fuck is he thinking?
He's thinking he's
trying
Kanye.
to be the most,
he has one of Kanye
He is
egos.
trying to be the most metal game developer ever.
He ain't.
Because
He's Kojima.
as weird as this,
He thinks he's Kojima. Yeah, like he thinks he's fucking
weird
Kojima.
As weird as this is, you gotta admit it's pretty metal. Like,
yeah, like I don't know. Like to me, it was just like, what? Are you serious? I read this. I had to read the story twice because I was certain I misread something.
did you have to check if you were on the Onion or not?
Yeah, I actually had to go to different news sites to make sure that I wasn't being like I wasn't reading somebody spreading
am I getting punked right now?
huh?
You're thinking like, am I getting punked right now?
Yeah, exactly. Because you
sure
see
you
a lot of
weren't-
news sites will start spreading uh,
You
what's
need
the
to
word
make
I'm thinking of? A
Bullshit.
sarcasm, not sarcasm.
Bullshit.
I don't know. There's
you
a
need to make
particular word of comedy that a lot of them use. Satire. Yes, it was a satire news story that was getting spread around as fact because that has happened many times.
You
No,
need to make sure you
it
are
actually
reading some
fucking
intern
happened.
story.
Yeah, it actually fucking happened. Thank you, Enforcer. Unfortunately, I got there a little bit before you did. But yeah, so that was the thing. Is that yeah? So that was actually really happened, and it kind of saddens me because now we have game developers who are starting to think that they're fucking Kanye West, and not to say
I'm
that,
gonna grab a glass of water. I'll be back in just a minute.
yeah, and it's not to say that it's definitely not to say that that Kanye West is in a way good person, but do you think this?
Wait, he's an astronaut too? What?
Yeah, he's been to space. Like this guy has literally thinks he is. Like I said, he thinks he's Kojima. He thinks he's a rock star because he came up with.
I mean, the dude's been to space, so. I mean, he looks like a nerd. So.
Yeah, he looks like a nerd. Is that it? Yeah. Hey, what's up, Gamer Forever?
I mean,
but
maybe he needs a longer beard. In like, I said it was metal, but he doesn't look very metal.
no,
His
he
beard needs
doesn't.
to be
Like I
longer.
said, Kojima to me seems a little bit more metal, mainly because I don't know. He wears those really tight pants.
Kojima's Japanese metal.
Yeah, he's exactly. He's even got the little swoop over the side of his face. Yeah, he's too metal for us. But yeah, no. But is this kind of a disturbing trend that the developers are starting to get egos like this, though? I mean, like,
I mean, Kurt Schilling sold his bloodied socks, so to fund the development of actually, it was either to fund the development of Kingdoms of Amalur, or he sold it after his company went bankrupt.
Yeah.
I can't remember which came which.
Something that was a that game was a disaster, though. I don't know. Like to me, it was just.
Amalur was good.
It
was good.
It was a good game. I feel like it tanked on potential because of the sense.
I mean, it wasn't as good as it could be, obviously, but what was there was very, very good.
Yes.
And I feel like the only reason why that company failed is because they attempted to create an MMO at the same time, at a time when MMOs were dying left and right. So,
yep.
Now let's get off of that topic and move on because we are running out of time.
I think that's a fair transition, and a good way that we can actually get into talking about Kev's favorite game.
I mean, we're gonna spend an hour on this anyways, probably. So.
Pokemon Go. Well, I mean, Pokemon Go.
I saw a 40-year-old woman almost get hit by a truck playing Pokemon Go. It was hilarious.
Kev posting up pictures of like a creeper van with spray paint on the side that says "Rare Pokemon located."
I'm surprised you guys haven't seen that meme yet. Everybody's seen it. How to catch a 28-year-old in 2016. And on the side of the van it says "Rare Pokemon" in here.
That's great. But yeah, so like this is the thing. Pokemon Go has been like the source of so many news stories. Everything from car accidents to accidental deaths. Why do you guys think that this free and rather innocent game has become such a news magnet? Like, because I mean, there's been other games that have big, like Candy Crush.
I think it caught Nintendo's real audience, which has been mostly the casual audience. Yeah. The casual audience, what everybody says when they left the Wii, went to mobile. Yeah. Like I've been saying it for a while. Nintendo needs to stop making hardware and focus on mobile and PC.
Not even okay, but even before the mobile market came to be, people have been saying and asking for this, like not exactly like this, but they have wanted a Pokemon, like a mobile Pokemon MMO style thing.
A social experience. The funny thing about it, little known fact, the company that made Pokemon Go also made another game. It's literally the exact same thing.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah,
it's Pokemon Go has even less content, actually, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's great because people have been downloading that other game to know the locations of the Pokemon because the same like transcendent points or whatever in that other game.
It's literally a skin.
It's literally skin. So they didn't even really make a new game, and it's captured the audience, and it's become. Apparently, somebody thinks you're old, Kev. You need to stop being old.
Something I would like to point out is that something really interesting. What makes me really, really happy about Pokemon, even though I don't think I will like the game, and I think that it's lazy and that it does not live up to the potential it could have.
Because you can't fight other trainers, though, right?
Right, yeah, there's no battles, like
that's like
there's point. And like it's not even the actual Pokemon battle system or anything. Like it's a Pokemon skin over Ingress, which is like ridiculous.
It's literally just, hey, let's take a picture of Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like what Ingress was.
What I would like to say is, in Japan, and this is pretty well known if you've looked into like Japan gaming and stuff. Like these social experiences. Social mobile experiences are huge in Japan. They have been for a very, very long time. It's why Monster Hunter is so big in Japan. Like, people gather together and, play these games and stuff. And it's like a huge social experience within the population. This has taken off in the States, which is awesome to me. Like, to all of a sudden, just because it's Pokemon, which I'm pretty sure it's Pokemon. This has brought this concept to the States of, this communal gaming type thing. And that's really, really awesome and really important for me, and I hope it continues because I think it's a niche that has not been filled in America, and it needs to be.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing, right? Is that so in Japan, obviously they've had a lot of problems with like otakus and stuff like that, like people that are shut-ins and literally get obsessed with gaming to the point where they never go out and see society, and they will literally go out of their way to try to get those people to interact and re-engage with society. And
probably don't do well.
Huh?
They probably don't do well.
I can't speak to that or not, but the thing is that's where a lot of these social type games like this to get people to move around and of course like I've been joking about it. Some kid rolls over my fence and comes in my backyard. He's gonna get a rock thrown at him. He's not gonna find a Pokemon here. Or maybe I'll mistake him for a real life Pokemon and try to throw Pokeballs at him until he falls unconscious. By the way, you really don't want to come in my backyard looking for Pokemon because rocks and Pokeballs are about the least dangerous things that are there.
All of a sudden to hit the market, AR-15 upper Pokeball launcher attachment.
Only in fucking Texas. Shout out to Jeremy on there because he'll be the first one to buy it. Yeah, but I don't know. Like, honestly, I like the social experiment of it. Get people to kind of come out of their shell and interact with other people. At the same time, if I want to do that, I can fucking do that if I want. I don't like leaving my mom's basement. I live there all the time. No, actually not. But
there's a steady supply of tendies,
Yeah. But no, like that's the thing is that
I pay for my own basement. God damn it, I can stay down here as long as I want.
Yeah. No, like that's the thing is that obviously that I feel like if they were trying to target people to get the Shire people to come out of their shell more and like explore and be creative and fascinated with the world, blah blah blah, the whole spiel. Here's the thing: the people that they would be targeting for that don't play Pokemon. They're the ones that spend 18 hours a day on an MMO, right?
I disagree.
Do you think so?
Yes, because Pokemon has always been one of Nintendo's most popular franchises.
Yeah,
well,
but it's also been a mobile.
If you think
but they're also a very casual market. The casual market's on mobile.
Yeah, the casual market are not the otakus, right? They're not the ones that are in their mom's basement, so to speak.
Morty, if you think about it, the age of the people who are playing this game, when they were younger, they were playing Pokemon. Like when they were younger and their parents forced them to get out of the house, they were playing Pokemon. So this new game that's Pokemon like comes out and they try it, right? Because nostalgia.
Yep. Now that I can see, I can definitely see getting down with getting like essentially. That's been a big thing recently, right? We've seen a lot of people capitalizing on nostalgia.
Doom.
Yeah, Doom and the upcoming Quake Champions. Like Bethesda's been all about taking advantage of that. But the thing is that here's another thing though, is that some companies or sometimes nostalgia doesn't always work in the same way, because you see a lot of times they'll put out a game or make a game trying to capitalize on nostalgia, and guess what? It's not the same game, and it doesn't. People don't get that experience they had before.
Yeah,
and
Nintendo's
so
kind
then
of
it gets criticized.
Nintendo's kind of in a unique, almost unique position in terms of nostalgia, right? Like Nintendo has been running off of nostalgia for a very long
30
time.
years. Right?
And I don't see it letting up anytime soon.
Like, let's be honest, N64 is really, that was the end of their success, and that was late 90s.
Yeah, I'd argue maybe the GameCube. A lot of people are saying the GameCube is one of the better Nintendo consoles.
was the first, and essentially what I see is their long list of recent mistakes. Now, let me roll that back a second.
I didn't like the GameCube. But I know a lot of people who loved it. My favorite Nintendo console is still the NES.
Well, let me roll that back, though, because obviously mobile, the fucking Nintendo, are the Game Boys. The series of Game Boys they've had, those have been a winning formula for them for a long fucking time. They have dominated the portable game market.
Exactly with the Game Boy, and then they start calling DS, 2DS, 3DS.
Yeah, well, yeah. DSi, yeah. And I'm talking, original Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, the DS, blah blah. Yeah, those have been a winning formula for them, and so they've been dominating that market, which is why I don't think they've cared as much about the console market, because mobile has been one of their mainstays for a long time, and I feel like it wasn't that big of a leap to go to Pokemon Go, right? Because they've already been the dominator of a mobile type market. Now they're just taking into another mobile market.
Nintendo didn't even, from what I understand, Nintendo as a company didn't even put in all that much effort, right?
No, they licensed it.
Nintendo, they licensed it, and they own stake in the companies that made the game.
Yeah,
right?
Essentially they outsourced the work for it, which is kind of funny and kind of depressing.
But they outsourced it to companies that they either partially or majorly own.
Oh, that's not surprising. That happens all the time in corporate environments, though.
Especially Japan. Japan's core, this got me reading. The Pokemon Go got me reading into Japan corporate structure. Japanese corporate structure is really, really weird.
It's clannish almost, actually.
Yeah, because you have Nintendo, but then Game Freak owns part of Pokemon, and Nintendo owns part of Pokemon, and Nintendo owns part of Game Freak, and then They it's super weird.
Yeah, it is.
like I said, it's very clannish, and the thing is that you'll even see that in the United States, where one company will be, say, a technology company, but then will own or will have, and like the executives are sitting on the boards of another company that's in real estate, and will then contract that other company for real estate work. And and they do this with multiple other companies for each specific thing. They have a stake in a certain company and will throw that other company work because it's beneficial to them if that company does well. And I feel like that's corporate structure, right? And ethics be damned, I guess. But the big thing about it is, do you think that this is going to be a bright flare, if you will, that's going to die off? Or do you think this is going to be, or are they going to find a way to expound upon this?
I'd love to see Nintendo expound upon it, and like I said, move away from like I said before. I don't think dedicated hardware for Nintendo is the way to go anymore.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think
especially with gaming and exclusivity going the way of the dinosaur,
I
focus on
basically
mobile, get the games on PC, and move on.
I basically agree with Kev at this point.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I can see, like, seeing what this has done in in the States. Like, this could be like a massive flagship game, right? If you take Pokemon and do what Pokemon Go does with the original Pokemon formula, like the battle system and everything, that would be massive. Like,
So,
Yeah, and I
the,
think they
the
can pull it
only
off on
the
mobile.
only problem with that is Nintendo not wanting to cannibalize their hardware sales, which I can
Their
understand.
hardware sales are already cannibalized. Like nobody really buys Nintendo home consoles anymore. Like
No, not home consoles.
Japanese buy
Hand
the handhelds.
handheld. I'm talking about handheld.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said hardware sales, I'm like home console sales. They might as well throw that out the
No,
window.
no, no,
Focus on
no.
mobile.
Like when I say mobile, I mean phone, right?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean phone
Well,
games.
because
So
I specify it this way: portable is Game Boy and
right, okay.
DS. Mobile is cell phone, tablet. Um,
So Nintendo will not want to cannibalize their portable like sales because they have too much R&D, too much industry already
that's really where
invested,
they have the biggest stake right now, right?
right? And
Is in their
it's
portables.
still popular. It's still
Right,
massively
because
popular in
no,
Japan. It's still hugely popular in Japan. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo cares about is Japan.
Yep.
So
that's very true, and especially that's also a market that nobody has ever touched them in. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like like in the console space,
Sony's
you have
Vita.
PlayStation. Nobody really touches PlayStation. In the mobile market, you have Nintendo mobile portable. However you want to look at it, that's Nintendo's market, and
Yeah.
nobody's gonna take that away from them.
So, like rolling this into our kind of our evergreen though. Could a game like Pokemon Go, like using its platform now rather than just say, okay, capture the Pokemon, and then that's it, and that's currently what we have, right? Is capture the Pokemon. Once you capture all the Pokemon, well,
Game
uh,
over.
um, it, so using that as a springboard, could a game like Pokemon Go, now that they have a good following behind it, could that lead into a more robust platform for AR experiences?
I think it depends on how long Pokemon Go lasts.
Yeah.
I think if the company manages to get the game up to date fast enough and keep it popular for long enough that people get an appetite for this style of game, it could definitely take off. Like social games could really, really take off. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
Because I
in the
think,
States.
AR, like the heart of, to me, what's always felt like the heart of AR, augmented reality games, or, augmented reality is you take your normal mundane world and you essentially make it into something else by adding stuff on top of it. You know,
I mean, we're pretty close. Like in
Yeah.
terms of technologically speaking,
all I
I'd
need is the
say
cybernetic
10 to
eyes
20.
to really do it. What?
Like Google, like glasses. Like I think
Yeah.
glasses are.
Yeah, but the Google Glass flopped.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they ever finished it. It didn't seem like
That's-
it.
the
It seemed too
the
price
technology-
prohibitive. to really
Yeah,
get
it's,
it.
Yeah.
it's price prohibitive, and it's. I feel Google Glass like because the thing about AR is it takes other infrastructure outside of the hardware itself, right? For AR to really take off, you need companies other than the company making the hardware adopting the AR.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have the technology.
Yeah, because I mean, if you get something like Samsung VR or the Gear VR, Gear VR, you know, like into that would be an awesome intro into it.
Something awesome that I was reading about the Pokemon Go thing is, and they were talking about how Nintendo is really gonna make their money off of this is if Pokemon Go really does continue to take off like it has and stay relevant, or at the very least, if Nintendo moves fast enough, they could start to make deals with like businesses for rare Pokemon locations. And you look at that face value, and that's pretty cool.
That's brilliant fucking idea.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea, to bring people into the business. But in terms of AR, that could be a starting point, like a springboard, right, for opening AR up in the world of business.
Yep.
Which would be what it takes to get something like Google Glass going.
Yeah. And that's
it's an interesting thing to think
about. As Zyphon put it, like the one thing Google Glass suffered from was actual exclusivity. Essentially, people got this picture of Google Glass as being kind of something that rich people have because the Explorer edition was like several $1,000s because it was essentially early access to the tech. And there wasn't a whole lot to deal with it. It was a nice proof of concept, but it didn't really have a whole lot going for it aside from it. And unfortunately, without it picking up steam, you're not going to get developers behind it. Without developers behind it, the functionality remains limited, which means less people want it. So it turns into a kind of a negative spiral downwards, right? I kind of feel like I really want a kind of portable AR experience. Because don't get me wrong, HoloLens has some serious potential to be awesome. The problem is of course, I'm not going to want to there's no way I'll be able to walk around with a fucking huge HMD on my face.
It's hard enough just to walk around with your phone in your hands looking like a retard. Like I said, the 40-something-year-old woman almost got hit by a bus. I'm on my lunch break driving over to this Italian spot. I'm like, the fuck this lady doing?
And she's standing in the middle of the street going like...
Trying to catch Charmander.
Wait, she actually got hit by a bus?
Almost
got hit by a bus.
See,
almost. Okay, I was going to say, actually or almost?
Funny enough, you say it was Charmander. Funny thing is, it's always been Eevee. Every story I've heard of, including local stories here, it's always been fucking Eevee. Somebody's trying to catch a goddamn Eevee, and it damn near kills him in the process. Eevee is a curse.
I just said a random Pokemon, bro.
Yeah. I'm dead serious. I've been hearing like at least 3 or 4 stories where someone does something stupid in the process of catching an Eevee. Apparently, Eevee's a fucking dick. That's all I gotta say.
Eevee's always been a pain in the ass. If you're a veteran Pokemon player, Eevee's always been a pain in the ass.
I played Pokemon Red back in the day, and yeah, she was a pain in the ass to catch.
Yeah, Borlax was a pain in the ass in Pokemon Red. Snorlax, that was it.
Snorlax was easy because he was always asleep.
No, he was asleep, and you couldn't do anything with him. For like the first quarter of the game, he was just blocking your fucking path. That was back in the day. Good God.
I used to do a Pokeball at him, and I was good.
No. This is Pokemon Red. The first time you encounter a Snorlax, he's in your pathway and just big snoring ass motherfucker, and you can't wake him up yet. You have to wake him up.
I remember that, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was like back in 98.
That was like 2000, 2001.
Oh, was it?
Was
it? Yeah. It was a long ass time ago. Long ass time ago. That was Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of would like for this to pick up and for them to expound upon it. Unfortunately, based upon Ingress, I don't really see them doing a whole lot more because Ingress, that seems to be about the highest form of that platform, and that's unfortunately disappointing. If they have no intentions, they just wanted a quick buck to be made off of Pokemon. That's unfortunately short-sighted, and it's going to bite them in the ass. But yeah. Zyphon, you're not out of the Pokemon age demographic if you didn't know that. There's fucking 50-year-old people that are causing car accidents and apparently drowning trying to catch Pokemon. That's a uncorroborated story.
Discovering bodies in rivers.
That is
water Pokemon.
That was uncorroborated, but the uncorroborated rumor is that some lady drowned trying to catch like a Magikarp or whatever other fucking water Pokemon.
Drowned for a Magikarp.
Like that's not even fucking good. That's
Magic.
That's like
Magikarp.
That's
Magikarp
like
use splash. He missed.
50-year-old people cause car accidents anyway.
The best part about this game, I will say, is the memes that have come up because of it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like after the show, I've just been on Facebook looking at memes, seeing like somebody said, "Oh yeah, Pokemon Go has opened my eyes," and then make matters worse, they had 3 kids looking at Pokemon in their phones while a black kid got shot by a cop across the street.
Yeah.
With that caption, I'm like, wow, they basically caught Facebook this week in a meme easily.
What's up, Travis?
Did you guys see that video of the guy who was like? He was in the park and he was like, "You guys playing Pokemon Go?" he went into this park and he was like, "I've never seen this many people in this park ever." So he went around and he asked everybody in the park if they were playing Pokemon Go, and all of them were.
That's why they were all in the park.
They're all trying to catch the same fucking Pokemon. Like,
park.
I mean, don't get me wrong, gets them outside. That's an important
cool.
thing. Some sunshine.
That's cool.
Good old fashioned fucking sunshine.
I think
my coworkers were sitting around talking about it. Yeah, we're gonna go find Pokemon on our lunch break. I'm like, I ain't even downloading that bullshit.
This is what you see in Japan, right? You see people going to set spots to play Monster Hunter, to get together and go kill monsters and harvest their bits.
Yeah.
And like this is the exact same thing, right? It's people together to go do stuff. And it's awesome.
It is a real life, a social experiment of an MMO. Like, now that's another fun one. Can you imagine a kind of an augmented reality MMO? Not like this, but where you're actually, grinding dungeons in a park. That would look fucking hilarious, though. You see just like this group of the stereotypical nerd types all gathered together in a park, like, quick, use blah 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 spell. No, you're doing bad at tanking, and like all the gamer rage coming out, and people just walking by what the fuck is wrong with these people?
Actually, I was just thinking about it, and Pokemon Go is basically a digital version of what's it called, geocaching.
Yep, it is. Like, I guarantee you, there's some geocaching. Yep.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
They're literally using it.
Geocaching.
They're using it. See, Twitter got pissed because you wouldn't geotag your photos. So now, instead, they're fucking geocaching your shit playing Pokemon Go. You have been fucking had. All you people playing Pokemon Go, it's all a fucking scam just to find out where you're going. So to sell you more relevant ads. That's what it's all about.
Pretty much.
Nintendo's just gonna walk out and be like,
and like I said, they're gonna start they're gonna start putting Mewtwo's in Verizon stores.
Yep, you're gonna start seeing it. They're gonna start putting Pokemon in places that are paying them ad revenue. Oh my god, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. And we called it here first. It is July 10th, 2016, at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We have thus predicted that Pokemon Go is going to be used as an ad platform.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, folks. All right.
And when it happens, we're going to say I told you so.
Yep. All right. On that note, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping up shop since it is 8:30. Travis, go ahead and give us your final thoughts here.
My final thoughts is I really need a new phone, too, so I can play Pokemon Go.
You need to ascend. They just announced the GTX 1060, more powerful than a 980, 250.
Yeah.
Get on it.
I mean, well,
250.
Hey,
wait, really? 250?
Yeah, 250. If you want,
and it's better than a 980.
And I mean, if you don't have 250, 200 for a fucking 480. The great thing about the $200 480 is it has 8 gigs of RAM too that's just been locked off.
Huh.
I saw another funny meme about that too. They said it was on the PC Master Race subreddit. The difference between Nvidia and AMD.
Yeah,
they
is
said
the peeling the sticker.
Peel back 8 gigs. You peel back 3.5.
Yep.
On Nvidia.
Yep. Setting that burn on Nvidia.
Gold.
Yep. And the funny thing about it is someone was like, "That's a fucking great Photoshop job because it's the same picture." And they both look completely different. But if you look at the hand peeling the sticker, it's identical otherwise. But yeah, anyway.
I don't care because it's factual.
Yeah. So the 480 is $200. 1060 is gonna be $250. It's about time you ascend. About time you ascend.
Comes out the 19th.
Yep. So anyway, yeah. So the 1050.
We didn't even get to talk about the 1060 tonight because the 1060, I think, is going to basically kill whatever momentum that 480 had.
I don't think so because, well, like I said, we want to wait for benchmarks first. That's why we haven't talked about it. Is because there are no benchmarks out on it, so there's no cold hard performance numbers that we could say it is definitively better than the 480. 100% confirmed. Yeah, they claim it will be.
You never trust Nvidia.
Well, no, I don't trust either. I don't trust them.
Well, no, I'm just saying that right now because we have the benchmarks for. Even we had the benchmarks for them because they were saying, "Oh, it's going to be on par with the 980," and it's more on par with the 970.
Yeah. Well, no. Their claim was the killer claim was that two 480s are in Crossfire. Could outperform the 1080 or 980 Ti or something like that, some flagship NVIDIA card.
It was a Crossfire could match a 1080. It's close, but no cigar.
No, it's really not. And the thing is that not all games support Crossfire and SLI.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, and as Zyphon says, I'm curious about the 1050 as well because that's likely to be a sub $200 card at launch. By the way they're aggressively pricing the 1060, it's going to be sub $200 for the 1050, and I'm going to guesstimate probably performance level of the 970, which is pretty fucking impressive.
Has the 1060 been released yet?
The 1060 comes out on the 19th.
Right.
Okay.
So here's here's the question then for both of you, I guess. Morty, you were looking at the 1080. Has the
1080
changed your mind any?
1080
Are you
Ti.
1080
How
Ti
much is
now?
the 1080 Ti?
I want the flagship.
It hasn't even been announced yet. He told the flagship.
No, I want the best of the fucking best. That's why. It hasn't been announced.
I'm total opposite. I like the best price to performance.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I wanted something that's future proof.
So the 1060 is going to be like the best price to performance. It's looking like, right?
The 1070.
I'm thinking so.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with the 1070 on it so far.
They're close. They're close.
Because that one's was it 3.
It's 400.
Well, I know it's 400 now, but what's the actual MSRP? 370.
Are we still on? Wait, have we already closed out?
No, we're still talking. We're still live.
Oh, we should probably close out first before we discuss this, okay?
Why? Because we'll go on talking about graphic card and everybody will be like, oh, fuck, I'm bored.
Yeah, we're already 5 minutes over. So everybody knows me. Everybody knows me. I'm Kev the Gamer. Check me out on my channel because I don't want this to go all night. I'm going to cut it off, let Morty close it up.
All right. And as everybody knows, I'm Angelis de Mortio. Obviously, if you guys have been here before, we stream here live every Sunday night at 7 p.m., aside from the last couple weeks that we missed. And then we also have it video on demand on Kev's channel. There will be a link down in the description below, as well as newly improved streaming schedule for everything else. There's also a link to our Discord server. You can come chat with us and other people and play games with us and cool stuff. Most of it's Overwatch. But anyway, yep, Enforcer, have a good night. Good night, everybody. We're going to sign off here, and we'll catch you all next week on the Pixel Crashers podcast.